Welcome back to the Moment of Truth with DNAngels. My name is David Vargas, and I'm a volunteer with DNAngels. If you're new here, DNAngels is a nonprofit based in Carbondale, Illinois, with a global reach. We help adoptees, donor-conceived individuals, people who never knew their biological parent, or anyone who's had a DNA surprise uncover the truth about their biological roots at no cost when it comes to identifying a birth parent. Today, we're joined by Joanna, who is an NPE, or not parent expected. We will be revealing to her for the very first time who her father is. Joanna, are you ready to find out what we learned?
Yes.
Okay. Before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? How did you come to discover that who you thought was your father was not?
Well, actually, my mom had gotten sick and she had excess brain fluid. So I think she kind of mentioned it, not really realizing, she had some medical issues going on. So I think it just kind of slipped without her realizing what she was saying.
Okay. So did you take the DNA test to try and find more answers about that? Or was this just, okay. So what did you discover when you first got those DNA results?
So there was a woman that I share 22% of my DNA with. It says she was either my aunt or my half-sister. So I was really intrigued by that.
Okay. Did you reach out to her at all?
I did.
And did you get a response from her?
No, she hasn't even read the message.
Okay. I understand that you actually messaged her through the Ancestry application. Is that correct?
Correct.
So one of the challenges with that, and I'm just going to kind of mention it here for you and others who may not know this, but the Ancestry application is great at many things, but the messaging side of that is not the best. Sometimes messages go unseen by users because, especially if they've only taken their DNA test and they've kind of abandoned their account, or they don't get back to it routinely, they may not see those. They may not even realize that there's a messaging portion to the application. So it's very possible she just hasn't been in there to see that, or that she doesn't realize that there are messages sitting there. You did have success reaching out to someone else, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So there was someone else that I had shared. I believe we shared 11%, or maybe it was 6%, something like that. But it said basically she was believed to be an aunt of some sort. So I had just reached out to her, and she was adopted. So she had no information herself, but we've, been in contact back and forth.
Right. And what information did she share with you?
So she just basically let me know that she was adopted. She didn't know any of her, either side of her family, and that she was looking for the same thing. And then she had reached out to DNAngels, and they were able to give her some answers. So I was, yeah.
Right. So we actually will frequently refer to those as companion cases. So it had that been mentioned to us at the very beginning, we probably would have taken your case a little bit in a different fashion, just because you actually do have a very close relationship with somebody who is formerly a DNAngels client. So just for future, and for those who are sort of watching right now, that is something that we do allow and we do offer for folks if they discover a close relationship to somebody who is already a client of ours. So I am going to use her first name. So that was Stacy. Stacy gave you quite a bit of information. You shared the back and forth you had with her through the Ancestry application. And I was able to kind of take a lot of that information, and it really helped me sort of move your case forward. And before we actually get into this final reveal portion, I'm going to ask you, Joanna, what is your favorite color?
Blue.
blue. Mine too. So I'm going to ask anybody who is, this is your call to action. If you're watching this and you support Joanna in her journey to discover her biological truth, please post with blue hearts. And we're looking for those comments out there. So thank you for that. So when Stacy commented to you, she actually gave you information about a very specific family. We're not going to use last names here, but she gave you even a nuclear family around that and mentioned 3 different brothers or 4 different brothers by name. So you kind of had that nuclear family already put together, and you kind of knew who may or may not be out there. So she actually kind of gave you the answer, and I'm going to just sort of confirm what she told you. The correct answer is Kenneth is the first name of your biological father. So I can guarantee you that, or I can confirm that based off of additional information that we have, and I'll be sharing that with you and sort of discussing that as we go through this. So that is confirmed. We're able to tell you that that is the identity of your biological father. You already know his last name. I know Stacy actually sent you the reports, the identifying reports that we had shared with her. She actually sent those to you, which you forwarded to me. So I don't need to give you that information. So that's one of those things that we would normally provide to you sort of as we're wrapping up the case. And so what I really wanted to do was to kind of pull together the information for you, not necessarily about Kenneth, but about those other DNA matches that you had out there. So I'll kind of give you some of the background on that, and we'll talk about that just a little bit as we're going through this. So just kind of be prepared for that, and I'll get there. There's going to be a little bit of information. So one of the very first things that we asked you to do when we took on your case was to download your raw DNA file from Ancestry and upload that to a handful of different sites that also have DNA databases available. The 3 we always use are GEDmatch, Family Tree DNA, and MyHeritage. We're actually still waiting for the MyHeritage upload. We haven't even gotten that back from you. It takes about a week for those to finalize. And if I'm being honest, Joanna, I actually had your case solved in about 3 hours on Sunday night. Before I went to bed, I knew the answer. But we always want to make sure we've got our information put together. We want to make sure that we've got all of we've ticked and tied all of the dots. We got everything. We want to make sure we've got the proof for you. So I messaged Kathy, my research assistant, who she actually didn't work on Monday. And so she was able to sit down and she did all of the research information throughout the day on Monday. And we had everything proven in your case by Monday not even late Monday afternoon. By the time I was logging off work, Kathy had put everything together. So big shout out to Kathy, because she did a fantastic job doing all this work for you. I had the information, but I was trying to really dig in and get some more for you, because I didn't want to just, here's your name and that was it. So the biggest help for us came when we looked at your match list, because I'm going to refer to her as so the match, actually, her username. I'm going to refer to her as YFB, just because, one, those are her initials, and it sort of lines up with her username. It's not exactly her username, but it's kind of close. So what was interesting is that she actually had uploaded her DNA to the GEDmatch site. So she had taken what she had and put it up there. And one of the best things about GEDmatch is that when you have somebody who's uploaded there, you have to put in your email address and you have to share that with people. So I have a live working email address for that match. So you'll be able to reach out to her and sort of get in touch with her that way, versus trying to use the Ancestry app. So hopefully you have a little bit more success reaching out in that fashion, okay? I'm also able to tell you that she is actually your half sister. So not an aunt, she is your half sister. Okay? here. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Give you a second.
just
Okay.
taking in the information.
It's a lot, and I'm going to have more for you when we're done here. I'll sort of we'll stay on and we'll do a little bit more chatting, and I'll sort of share some information with you and give you some more details. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So she is your half sister. One of the things that we were able to look at on GEDmatch is that they show you how you share what's referred to as X DNA, or that. So that's information, or that's DNA that is shared on the X chromosome specifically. So for women, you would receive one one X chromosome from your mother and a second one from your father. Because the two of you share a father, you have one entire X chromosome that is identical to each other. So that was the confirmation that we needed to be able to say with absolute certainty that you two share a father. There's no question in that. That is a true statement. Okay. There's some things that could sort of mess that up a little bit, but honestly, you share so much DNA, like you said, 25% of your DNA. That shows that you're half siblings as well. So we have these two very large clues that you are half sisters to one another, and that's what we've been able to prove with all of the work that we've done behind the scenes and putting everything together. So I am going to sort of share a couple of little things. I know you're working off of your phone, so you may not be able to see them right away, because I'm going to be dropping this information into our chat. So I don't want you to have to sit there and fiddle back and forth and do all sorts of stuff in doing all of that. So I'm going to drop them in there. If you need to take a couple of into our Messenger application, then I'll drop them in. You could take a look at them, see what's there. So I'm going to be looking over here really fast. So the first thing I'm going to do is share with you. This is actually the marriage certificate of your matches, YFB. Her mother, who we are able to specifically map as her mother, and your shared father, they were married in the late 60s. And I believe it was 68, if I'm remembering correctly. So they were married in 1968. Your half sister, YFB, was born in 1969, and then her parents were divorced in 1972. So before she was, and early in 1972. So before she was even 3 years old, her parents had separated and divorced. And that is your shared father and her mother. So I think the timing in there is kind of important, because what I sort of want to bring up in all of this is that if you look at her family tree inside of Ancestry, she doesn't have any information about her paternal side, which says a couple of things to me. And it also, the fact that she uploaded her DNA to GEDmatch sort of gives me a little bit more information. I have a feeling that she either doesn't know her biological father, or she's estranged from him, or perhaps is even an NPE herself, where when she did her DNA test, learned that who she thought was the father she had growing up wasn't her biological father. So when you decide to reach out to her, you may want to keep those things in mind, because that may inform what she can share with you, what she can't share with you. I think it's going to be important for you to keep that sort of in the back of your mind, because she may not have a lot of information for you, and that's okay. It's just that if she doesn't know it, she doesn't know it. But at the very least, you have somebody you can explore all of this with, which I think is fantastic. So definitely keep that in mind as you're looking at that. So I'm actually going to, do you have a question for me?
No.
Okay. The next thing I'm going to drop into there is actually a photograph that I found of her, and I'll give you her name. I'm actually going to type it into into our chat just so you can see it. I'm just going to put her first name in there just so you have it right away. So that is her first name. So she is, from what I can tell, she lives in Colorado, which is where your biological family actually originated from on that side. So she is still there and still living, and as far as I can tell, she's having a good life there. So I will be sharing her Facebook page with you a little bit later. It's actually going to be in the information that I sent over. But having that email from GEDmatch was the key to being able to locate her, because the username she has gave us no clues
Yeah,
whatsoever.
not her actual name.
Yeah, if that's all we had, we would have never been able to find her. So the fact that she had uploaded to GEDmatch was truly the key to being able to locate her, because I had an email to search from. With the email, I was able to find her full identity and everything like that. She has at least one son that I've been able to locate. So you have a nephew on top of things. And it looks like he has at least two children. She has grandkids as well. So you're going from, just being you, or you and your mother's, your brother or sister from your mother's side, to having, a few extra siblings and others. There is the possibility, and I haven't been able to locate it because birth records in Colorado aren't open for 75 years. So, or I think maybe even 100 years. I'd have to go back and double check. But there may be another sibling that's out there, a full sibling between your half sister and her. So they may be full siblings, because I'm not 100% certain in that regard. So I haven't been able to confirm that, because the records aren't really all that great for Colorado for living people. Marriage information is open from 50 years and past, so that's why I'm able to see the marriage information for your biological father and her mother. So that was a key to being able to make sure that we had the right person and that we were looking in the right location. So that's the information that I have for you right now. There's going to be a lot more that I'll be sharing with you after this is all done, just to make sure that you have it. I'll be putting it into our chat out there, so you've got all of that and you have the information. Do you have any questions for me right now that you'd like to kind of put out there and sort of make public?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can think of at the moment.
Okay. If you think of anything, we will definitely be keeping our chat open, so you can ask me any questions at any time. And we don't just end with giving you the information and leaving it at that. We want to make sure that we're here to support you in any way that you need it. So even if you want to write up an email and run that by us to sort of proofread for you and make sure that it sounds okay and that it reads okay, we can do that. I also want to remind you, and I'll do it in writing as well, we also offer liaison services. There is a fee for that, but we can help you reach out to your family and make sure that you're able to establish some meaningful connections with them and do that on your behalf. There are some people who reaching out, sort of not knowing who they're reaching out to, is a little bit difficult for them. So if that's you and you need some assistance with that, we do offer that as well. So, but we're here for you every step of the way. We are not going to just throw this information at you and leave you on your own. We're here. If you need help, if you need assistance, we're around. I want to remind you as well that we have all of the client support groups and everything like that that you've already been involved with, that if you need to talk, if you need to chat, you have a community of people who've experienced the same thing you have. So be sure to share with them, talk about it. It shouldn't be something that is embarrassing or should be a secret. It's who you are and what's made you who you are. Okay. Anything else that you'd like to go through right now?
No, I don't think so. Just kind of mulling it all over.
Okay. Well, I want to thank all of our viewers for being here and watching The Moment of Truth. If you or someone you love is searching for a biological parent, grandparent, or trying to break down a brick wall in your family tree, visit us at DNAngels. We're here to help you find answers. Parent searches are always free. Donations are appreciated and other services may come with a fee. Visit our website to learn more.